Hello, welcome back to Ebb and Flow, Receive and Let Go show. I'm your host, Jamie Layton, and with me as always is my good friend and professional astrologer, Hilloy Skott. Tonight we'll be discussing the full moon in Aquarius. And let's just get right into it, Hilloy. What is going on Thursday on the full moon in Aquarius?
Well, it's a full moon that is kind of coming on the heels of July, which was the eclipse portals opening and the Cancer Capricorn energy. So there was a lot of like family, kind of work family back and forth, like, mother, father kind of energy, trying to get grounded in our homes and also trying to kind of be who we are in the world. But coming into the Leo time, which we are coming up to this full moon, we have more of a, like, what do I want? What does my heart want? So it's less about others and more about kind of yourself and how to use your energy. And this full moon will help us to bring our energy to the world in some way, because Aquarius is very much a humanitarian and concerned about like future things and technology and just planet cosmic kind of consciousness is happening with Aquarian energy. So yeah, it's kind of helping us assess who we are on the inside and what wants to come from our hearts, and then bringing it out into the world. So that's kind of what we're being called to do right now with this energy.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So we just went through the portals of the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went through another portal, 8/8 Lionsgate. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, the Lionsgate is when the star Sirius lines up with the great central sun, or the sun in our solar system. So it's another opportunity. I guess it's like we're getting downloads of upgrades is a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Downloading of like what we need to move past, like get to the next level to upgrade our system. So it's a lot of powerful heart energy. The 8/8 is the symbol of the infinity symbol. 8 is the number of like wealth and abundance and good fortune and power and influence. It's a very strong number, especially if you want something that's more than what you have, or you want to achieve an abundant life, and which, I mean, why wouldn't you want to achieve that? So it kind of opens up a swirling portal to download this energy to help us move forward, essentially. So there's lots of that going on right now. There's definitely we're all going through big changes.
Yeah, I can tell you that time, the 8/8,
Yep.
right around that time, even that day, it was interesting because Jay was feeling it too. My husband, we were talking and I was like, I really just want to like know my life's path and know what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Right.
I feel like I'm just floating along a lot, and although it's always bringing me to the next thing, which is wonderful. And he was feeling the same exact way. He's like, we got to get on, our routine. We got to figure this out.
Right.
Yeah. Then I started listening to this 8/8 Lionsgate we and reading more about it. And it's like, that's exactly how we were feeling in the moment. So we were actually going with the flow, caused us to have that download of information, of that wanting to know those things beyond that.
Like questioning.
Yes.
Like, yeah, even just the act, like the, searching for the right spot, or like that, exactly that makes a lot of sense, because you want to do your thing, right? You want to like live your purpose and be all you can be. And so it kind of activates that in us, which helps us, I guess, focus, right?
Yeah.
I think another great thing that's going on with this full moon is Aquarius is wonderful at detaching, and it's an Aquarian bunch of planets. The sun and Venus and Mars are all in Leo, and the moon is opposite. So it's kind of like whenever there's a full moon, we're getting kind of pulled in, like our subconscious is brought to light. Things we try to repress come up because the light is shining on the stuff we don't usually look at. But with the Aquarian full moon, it gives us a chance to drop baggage really easily, because Aquarians are fabulous at detaching. So they can be like, oh, this is like too complicated. This is too, like, I don't want to get involved in this. There's an ability to really just drop the story
Yeah.
And that's not always easy. Like most, not a lot of signs have that level of ability to detach. So
this is like a great full moon for letting things go and
yes.
walking away and detaching and
yep.
putting that manifestation out there, that intention, and then just letting it go and letting it happen, because this is what I've been reading is this magic moon of Aquarius. It's 22 degrees in Aquarius. 22 is a master number in numerology, and it's all about manifesting and making your dreams come true. Like you said, Aquarius is about humanity and everything as a community. So this moon is really supporting that, your dreams, your goals.
Yep.
And then you have the whole detachment and the letting go is going to be easy this time around, I feel.
Yes. And that's very fortunate, because sometimes it's hard to, like, especially more watery signs, anybody with like Cancer or Pisces or Scorpio, even the earth signs, they have a harder time letting go. But now we should be able to just kind of see what our vision is and be able to drop what's in the way quite easily, much more easily than it at other times. So that's kind of another good thing about this full moon. There's also a trine, which is a blessing. It's like we've already earned this opportunity. We've figured it out. It's perfect timing. It's synchronicity. It's like lucky situations coming in. And it's between Mercury and Chiron. So Mercury is how we communicate, how our computers and our technology and our thoughts, all Mercury connecting to Chiron is our like inner wound and where we've been humiliated or our kind of weakness. So it's almost like we are able to see where our weakness was or where our wounds were in a very intellectual way, in a way that allows us to kind of process it and heal from whatever it is. And it's good, like when you understand like a problem you keep repeating or an issue that you have, once you finally understand it and you get the big aha, usually you can just let it go, right? So this is good for that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like this energy is bringing us. That's amazing. And then we have that, like you said, the trines are blessings. And and also we just had on the 11th Jupiter go direct, and Jupiter is abundant planet. And you were saying that Uranus went retrograde.
On the same day.
On the same day, and Uranus rules Aquarius.
Yes, it does.
Oh yeah, and then the moon goes full. Aquarius, 22 degrees. Right. Opposite of the sun and Venus conjunct, right?
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that energy? Well, conjunction with the sun and Venus got to be lovely energy.
Yes. The sun is in Leo, Venus is in Leo, and Mars is in Leo, all opposite the sun, or all opposite the moon, the full moon in Aquarius. So it's like our identity and our like relationships and what we value and our energy is all tied up in basically kind of coming from our heart, from like our deep center space. Because Mars, it's like our energy really wants, that's our energy, right? Mars, it's going forward, it's moving fast in Leo. And the Aquarius full moon is probably going to activate like the part of you that's like, how do I connect all these things together? And what can I do to, because the Aquarian full moon can be maybe irritating to all the parts of us that are being self-centered with the Leo sun and the sun energy and Venus and Mars, all like wanting to have fun and enjoy ourselves and party and romance and all the fun Leo things. And then the Aquarian full moon is like, well, what about humanity? And what about the cosmos? And what about the greater good of everyone? So there's that push-pull between those two energies. And whenever there's the opposition, it's not this or that, but it's this and that. So we're trying to like balance all of this right now. So we could have like confrontations actually.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably why it causes confrontations, because it's this and that. Like it's either this or that. You can be, where you're at. But when you're confronting something, it's like you're conflicting the opposite of both in your head.
Right.
You're trying to make sense of both of it, and it's not working.
Right. And usually you want like one more than the other, but then the other, like that's the thing with our charts and stuff. When we even have oppositions in our charts, we're like here to express both those things. So it's like some can be a real inner struggle. It's easier, I think, to negotiate the opposition than it is to negotiate the square, because the opposition can eventually come to an agreement, right? Like, oh, I've got this talent and you've got that talent. And if we put these talents together, then we're like a balanced whole. Whereas a square is like, they're coming at life from completely cross purposes. So it's much more complicated, like, scenario to sort out. And there is some square energy that we're dealing with right around the full moon too, between Mercury and Uranus. So it could be like, maybe suddenly we're going to get challenging ideas, or someone's going to challenge us with their ideas, or like a shocking new outcome or a shocking new revelation will come in the realm of communications and ideas and things like that. So, but it could be like, we could be very stressed out around this magical full moon. Like there's a lot of pressure kind of happening around it, which we'll all be tapped into.
Well, it's good to know what's there and around us.
Yes.
So we can work through it.
Yes.
And also use the energy of this magical new moon to transform it. Mm-hmm. That's what this moon seems to be about, transformative, making things out of nothing, or making your dreams come true. Mm-hmm. Remember on our last video, I said, think big, dream big. And
this is big thinking energy for sure.
Right.
Like, and also like, because of the Leo flavor and all the planets in Leo, and they're very fixed. Leo is a fixed sign. Aquarius is a fixed sign. So they don't sway very easily. It helps us like really figure out who we are specifically, like our own special, unique gift in a fixed way. So that's where we could come up against trouble. But at the same time, we need to get that way so that we can get where we're going.
So what do you mean by in a fixed way?
Like stubborn.
So, okay.
Basically fixed is stubborn. It's like the fixed signs, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio are all fixed. Mm-hmm. and they're the opposites. Like Scorpio and Taurus are opposites, Aquarius and Leo. So they don't, like, you can't tell a Taurus how it's going to be or what to think, right? They just won't, or any of the fixed signs. They're very like, they figure out their things in their own time. Whereas with a mutable sign, the Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, they're much more flexible. Like you're like, oh, that's a new idea. I'm going to run with that. That's a great idea. And so they can move and adapt and change much more easily. Whereas the fixed signs are like, it's hard for them to shift and change very easily, because they're sort of meant to stay the course in their own, sometimes rut. It can be like a total rut.
Well, think about if we didn't have any fixed in our astrology, we'd all be floating around, going with the flow,
right?
And not having any stable ground to walk upon, because we'd be too busy getting involved with this idea, and then, oh, let's go to this idea, and then let's go to this idea. Nothing would really come into fruition or manifestation because there's no plan. There's no, no, we're staying here.
True. It's so true. Like, because if you watch a personality that's really mutable, they'll be like, it's really great to have a perfect blend, because the mutable helps you change, whereas the fixed have a hard time changing, right? They'll get like stuck eating the same dinner like every Wednesday for the rest of their lives, or like just that weird kind of stuck energy. But again, you're right. Nothing gets manifested without like repetitive focus too, right? You've got to like keep doing the same thing to create the reality ultimately.
Well, it all goes with the magic of this full moon here.
Mm-hmm.
We need that fixed in order to make something.
Yes.
And material is what we are manifesting here when we're manifesting tangible things.
Right.
So, and that goes along with fixed energy, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. It makes you kind of have more command over kind of the earth plane, I guess, like, because we're creating in the material world, right? We're manifesting in the material world. So having that fixed, Yeah, like we're not, I guess we haven't evolved to the point where we can just like snap our fingers or wiggle our noses and like create our new reality, which I used to be so pissed off. Did you guys watch that in the States? You must have. I'm sure that's where it was coming from. Bewitched.
Oh yeah.
She like had a little wiggled her nose, and I remember being so pissed off as a child that I could not do that. I was like, how does this even happen? Why can't I do this? I felt like I was so ripped off that somehow I was supposed to be able to do this and I couldn't do it.
So funny. My imagination was a little different. I always believed that I could do it.
Oh.
But I had to, I was still learning it. But I felt like it was always in me. That's probably why I love things that have to do with magic. And
yeah, me too.
And the unknown and things like synchronicity, because it seems all magical, angels and all that stuff. Especially like even with tarot cards, and if somebody's interpreting it according to you, it seems so magical.
It does seem magical. It kind of is magical.
I think
we live in a magical world right now.
Absolutely. Creation itself, how how we are created is magic.
Totally. Yep.
How does that even happen?
I don't even think that we're really fully capable of like comprehending what is going on here. Like I think we're like barely grasping the surface, like getting little glimpses of the real reality, like the Matrix. I think it's a lot like the Matrix.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we are
listening to Dr. Bruce Lipton today.
Oh yeah,
he was saying that the Matrix is not a movie; it's a documentary.
Right. That's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I really believe that too. Like, and we're all kind of like. Even the astrology is kind of like holding us into the Matrix.
I believe that the stars are the Matrix. I believe they're like portals of energy beaming into us,
right? That
are creating our reality and our personalities and the way we look and the whole world around us, right. and how we're perceiving it. So absolutely.
Which is very much what Jason discusses in The Soul's Dream, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All in there and how that's all working. Yes, I believe that too. And even like our birth charts are kind of like a blueprint. Well, they are. They're like a blueprint or a map of what we've planned, what we're dealing with, what the influences are that we're like under, and the potentialities that we have in our lives. We can see them all in there.
Yeah, and like we're discussing what's going to be happening on this full moon coming up. That's a blueprint right there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's like an archetype too. We're tapping into the archetype of Aquarius and the archetype of a trine, and the archetype, that's basically what the predictive astrology is. It's just like, well, this is what the energy is. So this is the kind of stuff that we might be feeling or experiencing. But we do all react differently, right? Because our charts are different. So different people will have different areas activated and be more influenced or not so influenced depending on what's in their chart.
Yeah, so even if you feel like the stuff that we're discussing may not be exactly what's happening to you, notice the people around you.
Right.
It probably is happening to them.
It probably is. And then the big things like the day on Sunday, the 11th, when Jupiter went went direct and Uranus went retrograde, usually those big days, there'll be some sort of like major event. There'll be like, like that tsunami in Japan a few years ago was the day that Uranus went direct, like the same, and it went direct in Aries, which rules uranium, and like the uranium meltdown happened. So the big planets move, and we all kind of feel them for sure.
So yes, all these synchronicities, and I feel very connected right now. Going through the
I do too.
Eclipse and dealing with all that and all those retrogrades. What was that?
That was hard.
That was tough.
Yes.
And then coming out of that and having the 8 Lionsgate and learning about that and feeling connected to that. And then on the 11th, when Jupiter went direct, feeling connected to that. I'm almost positive that this full moon for me, especially because I feel like it's being primed. Like I was brought through here with a portal, and then brought to this thing with 8, and then on the 11th, and now this full moon is coming up. I really feel as if questions that I've been asking are going to be answered.
There is a lot of opportunity around right now.
That's my word, Opportunity.
Opportunity.
That's the key word I'm going with this month. It keeps on popping up everywhere. Opportunity, opportunity.
And it's lighter too. Like the July, the Cancer Capricorn eclipses, it was very heavy. Like, even though it was like summery energy, it's still heavy. A lot of people were having a hard time with it.
I felt it. Everybody around me was feeling it. Even with this Mercury retrograde, it was tough.
Yes, it was a tough Mercury retrograde. Ugh.
But now we're coming all out of it. So everything is, now we're moving forward. And one of the tarot cards for Aquarius, since we're in the new moon, full moon of Aquarius, is the Star. And that is all about optimism, renewal,
magic,
boundlessness, peace, and astrology.
Yes, Aquarius is the ruler of astrology. Uranus is the ruler of astrology.
And here
it's funny because they say that like an astrology conference, you'd think that everyone's going to like just be everybody's alike because everyone's into astrology. But apparently astrology, because it's ruled by Uranus, is just made up of super duper individuals. Like everybody is like, no matter whether we're all interested in the astrology, everyone's such individuals that it doesn't make for the most, like, you know, it's not like everybody's the same, like going to church or something. I guess probably church isn't, everybody's not the same there either. Stereotype.
No.
Yeah.
We are all different, and that is,
we are all different.
Yeah.
But astrology is under the Uranus domain, so and Aquarian's ruler. So a lot of people that, it's just, I guess, like a fringe kind of concept, right?
Yeah.
Mainstream usually isn't tapped into it. Although nowadays with the internet, it sure seems like it is to me.
I feel like we're going back to where we originated from when studying astrology, and astrology was science.
Yeah.
You know, and then we forgot all about it. And, you know, we get horoscopes and your local paper or what have you, and it's like, it seems like such hogwash, so people walked away from it, I feel like. But I am so attracted to it, and I'm really seeing the synchronicities, and every time we get together and hearing the forecast and listening to your podcast, I really feel connected, and like I know so much more.
Cool. That's cool, because we are like, it's like the big weather, because it's, you know, we have the little weather on Earth, but the astrology is kind of like the big weather that we're all like, the whole planet is influenced by.
Yeah. And then whatever you have going on in your own chart is also being influenced.
We're all under the influence of the big weather.
Absolutely.
It is cool. It's a pretty, I think we're lucky that the horoscopes like kept astrology kind of in the public attention.
Yeah.
A little.
Yeah.
Even though people are like, oh, you don't believe your horoscope. But I mean, the horoscope is literally like a piece of punctuation in all of astrology. Like it's so minuscule compared to the information that's in your chart, or even with the cosmic like connections with the planets, like what we're talking about. That's all astrology. And that's not in your little paragraph in the newspaper every week.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. Wish it was.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's what this is. That's what this is.
Yeah, I guess so. Totally. I wish this was around when I was young. I'm sure I would have found it like much sooner.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I was like in my early 20s when I found it, but I'm sure if someone had given me this information as a child, I probably would have really run with it. I think I would have really liked it.
I would have and loved it, because I believed in magic and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it goes like hand in hand.
Yes, definitely.
And it makes more sense of what the stars are and how, you know, you hear like the Big Dipper, and you learn about that as a child, but you don't know what it really represents and where the stories even come from, unless you're lucky enough to have somebody who's knowledgeable to teach you that.
Right.
I would assume that it came from the stars.
Yes.
The, you know, story came from the stars.
Yeah. And we needed like some kind of story to follow along.
And it made like archetypes.
Yeah.
And archetypes are things that we look at, you know, when we're talking about the trines and the characteristics of each planet and
each person, like
each person. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really amazing when you like that I can describe a Gemini or a Capricorn or like, and we do actually carry these traits. Like they really are our traits. So something's going on, something's working.
Absolutely. And then to hear all these things are going on that are heavy energy, and you're seeing and witnessing and feeling heavy energy. And
yes,
there's got to be something going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. It does make you feel like when you know that, it just kind of, it's such a relief almost, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're like, yeah, wow, I feel shitty today too, just like the rest of the planet.
Or I feel really energetic today.
Right. Yeah.
Joyful.
The day that Jupiter went direct and Uranus went retrograde was like, the weather here was crazy. We had like this blustery, like very dramatic kind of weather, which really suited the energy. And I felt full of energy. I was like very clear and focused and like full of energy. But then the next day, the moon and Pluto conjunct and Saturn all conjunct in Capricorn, and I didn't feel energy. I felt like, oh, how will I go on? Like Saturn and Pluto, and it's a very heavy energy, right? Like kind of sad energy, and like the like just sort of hopeless and, you know, Saturn stuff.
Yeah.
But I also got a lot done to try to make myself feel better about myself.
Very good.
Yeah. Just pushed to my own, like, my own sense of worthlessness was a real motivator to get shit done.
But you knew where it was coming from.
Yes.
And that's so important, I think.
It really makes a difference. And you can watch it shift as like the moon sign changes or the aspects come in and out of significance. You can see the shift in your own character. You can feel it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's what I've been ever since I've gotten into astrology and all of this. I feel so connected with the energy. I may feel at times heavy, like we were talking about heavy energy, right. And that doesn't make you feel like you're disconnected. But when you hear where it's coming from, you know that you're really connected. So.
Yeah, that's true. So connected.
Well, I think it's a great time to end the show.
Okay.
Remember to put your crystals out. This is a powerful time right now, I feel. This moon is in Aquarius, and like we were talking about, Aquarius is able to detach, and it's going to be a great time for this full moon to be able to let things go. Mm-hmm. So have fun letting things go.
Yes, do let things go.
If you've enjoyed our show, please subscribe and hit the bell for the notifications. And we will be doing another show in a few weeks on the new moon. We're going into Virgo.
Yeah, we're going to Virgo. So it'll be the Virgo new moon.
Ooh, a Virgo new moon.
I like Virgo. It's a real like productive time. You get like all your ducks in a row and you feel really clear and focused and your house gets really clean. It's good.
Yeah. And then we went through all this heavy energy. We're coming out of portals, and Jupiter went direct. And so I think Virgo is going to be a fantastic time.
It will. It will be we're going to be very orderly. It's going to be lovely.
So see you next time in the new moon Virgo. Much love and many blessings.
Many blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye.